Welcome to Medicare School Daily, where we help you understand Medicare, save money, avoid mistakes, and above all else, get the most out of your Medicare benefits. Now, today's topic is dealing with unexpected medical bills. None of us like unexpected medical bills. We don't like surprises of any kind, especially when it comes to a medical bill that now we're responsible for. And in my example today, we're going to treat it as though you had a Medigap Plan G, meaning you bought a supplemental Plan G among the many options that are available to you for MedSup plans. Now let's quickly review. If someone buys a Medigap Plan G, what are they going to be responsible for? So what this means is that when you enroll in Medicare, you have chosen to stay in original Medicare A and B, which means that Medicare A and B pays first. Okay, they're the first to pay the bills. And then you'll get some sort of a supplemental plan that is then going to pay second. So the supplemental plans are going to follow. And let's say in our example that we decide to buy that Plan G. That's the most common, most popular plan today. So when we buy a G, what's happening is Medicare pays first. It is then followed by the G plan, followed by G, right? And so that G plan is going to pay second, and it's going to cover everything except the B deductible. Every year, Medicare sets the B deductible. This year, that happens to be $198, which means what? When someone buys a supplemental Plan G, that G plan will pay everything but the first $198 for the entire year. So that is going to be your responsibility. But let's suppose that you get a surprise, unexpected bill for $220. What's the first question you want to ask? Have you met your Part B deductible yet? So let's suppose we get that $220 unexpected bill, and we're looking at our explanation of benefits, and we realize that Medicare only paid $18. And we realize that our supplemental plan only paid $4. And we see that our responsibility with that bill is $198. And so we look at the bill and we're very disappointed. Medicare pays $18, my supplemental plan even pays less than that, and I've got this $198. What happened? More than likely, that is your deductible. You haven't met it yet for the year. And so you're going to have to pay the $198. So the first $198 for the entire year is your obligation. That could be the first $198, let's say, of an MRI or maybe cataract surgery. But the first $198 is going to find its way back into your mailbox in the form of a bill. I had a lady recently tell me that she actually had 5 bills before she got to the $198. She had a couple doctor visits as well as some lab work. Finally got to her $198. But once we've met that $198 B deductible, then we have 100% coverage medically. As long as Medicare is going to pay, that's all we have to pay. Everything else will be covered after that. So that was question number 1. Have you met your Part B deductible? You're responsible for that. Question number 2 is, was it coded correctly? Let's just suppose that you have an outpatient procedure that was approved by Medicare for $1,000. And again, you get an explanation of benefits, and you're responsible for the full $1,000. Because what it says on that explanation is that Medicare paid $0, therefore your supplemental plan paid $0, and now you have to pay $1,000. Now, if you happen to be someone who works with our firm, what would happen? We would encourage you, call us. When you get some kind of a surprise and unexpected bill, let's find out what happened. So they're saying you have to pay $1,000. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask you, is this something that was covered by Medicare? And you say, oh, absolutely, it should have been covered by Medicare. So what are we going to do? We're going to actually call the provider, the doctor's office, or maybe it was an ambulatory surgical center, an outpatient center, a surgery center that did this for this particular procedure, and they're billing you. We're going to call them. We're going to ask them, could you please go back and look at the claim that was made to Medicare because we're getting a full balance on the bill. Will you make sure that it was coded correctly? And so they'll pull the file up and they'll look at the claim, and they'll usually 99% of the time realize that they miscoded that. That's why Medicare denied the claim. So if Medicare denied the claim, so did the supplemental plan. Remember, because it's following Medicare. And that's why you have a bill for $1,000. So that's easily corrected. The company, the provider, will actually correct the code. They will refile with Medicare. Medicare is then going to adjust their payment, and it's 80-20 on the Medicare side. So we have Medicare is going to pay $800 of this claim, and your supplemental plan is going to pay $200 of this claim, because it was originally for $1,000. We're assuming you've already met your B deductible, and so it's going to look like this. And so your responsibility is now going to be $0. So again, if we have something that's miscoded, we may get an unexpected surprise bill. But again, that's a very easy correction. Correct the code, and you'll see the balance of yours will be brought to zero after you've met your B deductible. And then that takes us to our third question that we have to ask with unexpected bills, and that is, was it a Medicare coverage service? Let's just suppose that we go to a chiropractor, and let's suppose the chiropractor does an adjustment to the spine, and that is billed at $40, okay? And also that chiropractor does an x-ray, and that is billed at $125. And you also have acupuncture while you're there at the chiropractor's office, and they bill that for $85. Okay, so we have a total services here of $250, but you get a bill from the chiropractor for $210, and that is now your responsibility. And so let's suppose we've already met our B deductible and it was coded correctly. The problem in this scenario is what happened? You got a service that was not covered by Medicare. What happened? The adjustment of the spine is covered by Medicare, but x-rays are not, and nor would the acupuncture be. They don't cover those kinds of services, so you would have a responsibility for that full $210 because those things are not covered by Medicare. And this is why we always encourage people when they're on Medicare to always ask two questions. Number one, ask every provider you go to, every doctor, every specialist, every hospital, do you take Medicare? And if we get a yes to that question, and that doctor is recommending anything beyond the office visit, maybe a test or procedure or surgery, you're always going to ask, now is this going to be something that's covered by Medicare? Because folks, if it indeed is covered by Medicare, after you've met your B deductible of $198, it should be fully covered. But if it's not covered by Medicare, whatever those services were not approved by Medicare will be your financial responsibility. And so those are the three questions we ask when we get one of those surprise bills. Have you met your Part B deductible? You must, $198 each year. Was it coded correctly? If it wasn't, that can be easily corrected. And you want to be sure that everything you have done is a Medicare covered service, lest you will be responsible for the full balance of those services. To learn more, watch the related video or check out our most recent video. Also, be sure you click to subscribe for free and get notified every time we post a new video. To watch our complete Medicare workshop, go to MedicareSchool.com. And finally, when you're ready to compare all your insurance options and get free enrollment help from one of our Medicare School guides, call the number on the screen. See you next time.